Get ready to be inspired by the great things happening in rural education. The Rural Scoop will bring you new ideas and innovative solutions. We'll dive into education issues and we'll highlight what's working in your rural communities. You'll hear from a variety of educators, administrators, professionals, and others who will provide relevant and engaging content in each episode. And now, serving up the scoop, here's your host, Dr. Melissa Sadorf.
There are rural educators doing extraordinary work every day, and too often the country never hears that story. Before we get started, if you're getting value from the Rural Scoop, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps other rural educators and leaders find the show, and it helps us keep shining a light on what's working in our rural places. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Dr. Lindsay Colyer, the Mississippi Rural Teacher of the Year, who is a science teacher at the Mississippi School of Arts in Brookhaven. Lindsay teaches upper-level science courses that demand both rigor and curiosity, things like chemistry, anatomy, zoology, botany, earth and space science, and all the things. And she's become a state-recognized voice for what's possible when strong instruction, strong relationships, high expectations come together. We're going to talk about her classroom craft, what rural students need right now, and what it looks like to build readers, thinkers, and confident learners through science. So let's get into it. Lindsay, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me on the show, on the podcast. This is wonderful.
Well, I am excited to be able to learn more about you and the work that you're doing in Mississippi. So let's start with your story. What pulled you into education, and specifically, what pulled you towards science as your lane?
Absolutely. I would say as growing up, the passion for science came from watching organisms and just animals. It was animals that really tied me to science, specifically biology. And I had two parents that really encouraged that and would foster that love, that passion. Specifically, it was whales. I loved whales. I needed to know every single type there was, the differences, their diet, where they lived. So it was animals that I really was passionate about. And my parents fostered that. I could tell you that growing up, my parents would take me to the teaching art and supplies and teaching stores, and there'd be little animal figurines. And so we moved around every 3 to 4 years, but my parents would always find some kind of teaching supply store where we could go and get animal models because I wanted to collect them all, and they fostered that. So my parents were really my first teachers. They supported everything I wanted to do, all my passions. I was encouraged to continue my education for science, keep getting all my degrees. And I had wonderful and amazing teachers that pushed me to go further in my education, further than I ever really dreamed, to go get my Ph.D. at Baylor College of Medicine. And while I was there, finishing up my last year of grad school, I had put in for different jobs, and I was looking at what was available, what was open. And I put in for different things, and I didn't hear back. And again, I was finishing up grad school. That's okay. And then teaching found me. So a local community college where I actually had attended as a student and got my 2-year degree, they called me and said, hey, we are looking for an adjunct biology professor. Would you be interested? And so I went and I applied, and teaching found me. And to be honest, I was given a lot of gifts that make me a great teacher and that I utilize, because even though I've taught, I'm coming on about almost 10 years right now of teaching in education, but throughout my whole academic and scientific career, I've always mentored and trained. That's always been a huge thing of what my experience is and the strengths that I bring as a teacher, especially in rural America. That's amazing to have such a strong technical background, and also the training and the mentoring aspect is critical in teaching. That's what I think we need to hear more of that.
Who would you say, Lindsay, inspired or influenced how you roll out your designs, your teaching style? What did they model for you that you still use today?
I look to the teachers that it had an impact on me. And we all have those teachers, no matter where we are. When you say or ask someone, what was your favorite teacher or most impactful teacher growing up? We have those names. So for me, when it was elementary, it was Mr. Harmon. Mr. Harmon class was amazing. We played games and did things hands-on, and that there were a lot of games. And so that was a very, very fun and exciting to me. I mean, when you're learning and practicing multiplication and you go, well, we're playing a game and it's team versus team. That was amazing. I had Miss 𝐄𝐩𝐢𝐬𝐤 in elementary. She saw in me my drive and my focus. And so she made me a captain of a Mardi Gras crew that we had, because this was Louisiana. And so in elementary school, we had a Mardi Gras crew, Mardi Gras ball. So I'd say what I am drawn to is the information, the topic. So really any science topic I get passionate about, and you are drawn to people that are passionate. And so that gets your attention. It's the hook to get people in. So I really am drawn to those people that make an impact, that it's also the tools they use. There's a variety of tools, games, visuals. And so it's not, as I tell people when they come into my classroom, when they're touring and wanting to know how is science done here, I'm not knocking textbooks. I love textbooks, but you do not just learn sitting in front of a textbook and that's it. Reading is important, writing is important, but you don't learn from just a textbook right there. Science is hands-on application. And so that's the fun part in experience. If you have an experience, you tend to remember that more, and it creates a memory. And even if the person doesn't remember the finer details of what you were teaching, they remember how they felt in the experience, and they remember what they were impacted with at the time. So I'm drawn to those teachers that naturally exude the passion, exude a love for their subject as well. That's the thing, is if I don't love what I'm doing, I really can't expect the students to want to love and be there as well. So I love what I do, and people feel that passion. So I'm also drawn to that when I see and look to other people for what's working with them as teachers.
Yeah, well said. When you heard that you were named the Mississippi Rural Teacher of the Year, talk a little bit, Lindsay, about what that recognition meant to you and to your students.
That was a beautiful experience. First off, I had gotten the email the last day of before winter break. I had gotten an email. And so to be named the Mississippi Rural Teacher of the Year at the local level here, just to be told that I was part of the process, that I was nominated. I had gotten that email on the last day before winter break. And so I wasn't familiar with the group. I had to go ask my principal and them to say, is this okay? Is this legit? Because it sounds wonderful, but I've not. So it opened up the world of, I hadn't been aware of, I'm a teacher. I will do the best I can no matter where I'm at. But it is true that I am in rural Mississippi. So when it was this organization reaching out to me and saying, you've been nominated, I appreciated. And to me, it just clicked of, well, yeah, I mean, I have experienced challenges being a rural teacher, but I make it work and I bring 100%. And honestly, I never quit anything. So it was amazing to get that just nominated to be considered for it was incredible. And it was a really good retrospective time and to reflect and to pull everything together, because you don't go into teaching for acknowledgement. We don't go in for it for awards, for gold stars or anything. We do it because we love it and we're passionate. And just to be nominated, I tell my students, that's like sprinkles on the biggest cupcake. So literally, it was a really wonderful thing to get. And then to hear that I was one of the 4 finalists was amazing, representing my district. I loved also meeting the other teachers. So that was really impactful for me. Even if I didn't get any further being named the top winner, I got to meet with more people from Mississippi Rural Education Association, Patty Permenter, Devin Brenner, Bradley, and so forth. So it was amazing to meet them, but to meet the other finalists as well, because we are all from the state of Mississippi. We're from all over. And it felt like we weren't alone, like I wasn't alone, that to hear the challenges that are being faced by other teachers in rural education and in our state, it was great to have, we had a little panel and we got to talk and share where we are and what was challenging, what we would say if regarding teaching in rural America. And that was beautiful, just to connect with my fellow teachers. And again, different subjects, different grade levels. One woman, bless her heart, she had been teaching, she was at the grandkid level of like now the infant generation. Like literally, she has taught generations of students in this one area of Mississippi. And that is incredible that she's been in there that long. and to be that impactful. So it was incredible. And when I got to share the news with my students, I'm still so thankful for it. So that's the thing, is it gave me the opportunities to go and to speak and to advocate. And so I'm taking that as it's been a wonderful opportunity to advocate for those that maybe don't feel that they're able to share this information, or to, again, if you're given a platform, you use it. And so I'm very proud to be able to share being a teacher and what that means, because we all want a voice at the table. We all want to be heard, and we want our stories to be heard.
Yeah, well said. What is it, Lindsay, that you want people outside of rural education to understand about the work behind that title?
There's a lot of work. I learned, so when I was at the college level here, at the college level in Texas, I saw students, again, I was an adjunct biology professor, so all ranges of students as far as people struggling, and they were struggling with basic skills, note-taking, test-taking, having anxiety. So I saw a lot of lacking of basic skills at the college level. So when I was praying and saying, God, if you want me to be a teacher, if I can get to students sooner at the high school level, at secondary level, I think that that's more impactful and what I feel called to do. And so God opened up that opportunity. And through that process, it's been kind of a trial by fire, and that you're thrown into the water and you tread. So the thing is that when I started teaching here in education, in secondary, I was the only high school science teacher at a alternative school. They were the only ones willing to give, because at the time I was an adjunct biology professor. I didn't have my teaching certification. And so I was put at the bottom of, I went to a big job fair. I heard so many things of, you're amazing. This would be great. We would love to have you. We have a baseball coach teaching biology right now. You're perfect. You would be amazing here. You go. So I started to hear how so many people had different hats, as far as there's a coach, but if you don't have a math or science teacher, they're having someone else teach that. So it's wearing multiple hats, because there's just not enough people filling these jobs, and there's not as many teachers at that level. So I saw that there were a lot of people struggling with, okay, they're not a biology teacher, but their school needs a biology teacher. They're willing to step in and fill in. And so teachers really have such amazing hearts to give, even if you don't if that's not where you're meant to be. You generally are willing to do so much, because we care about the kids, because we care about having an impact. And at that alternative school, I ended up being the only high school science teacher. I had 5 or 6 subjects I was prepping at, all in the first year, daily basis and weekly basis, my lesson plans for 5 subjects. Students are coming in and out because it's an alternative school. You have no control over when people are suddenly sent to that school. And so that, and then on top of that, I was double blocked and triple blocked for a class. So when they needed me to teach 2 or 3 subjects at the same time, the same block, you go, if you are okay with me, with my organization, and if you allow me to do that, then I have no problems with it, because this person is going to be learning about zoology. This person's going to be human A&P. This person's learning about zoology too, all in the same room. And I'm going to, and it was COVID. COVID was when that happened in 2020. So virtual hybrid learning. So teachers work so hard. We have so much that we do, whether it's hybrid learning, virtual learning, traditional learning, and then you may be teaching multiple subjects at the same time, and you go, you're doing what you can, and it's a challenge, and it's easy to see where some burnout can come in, because you just get so tired. And I mean, that first year, I was prepping 6 subjects, double or triple blocked for teaching. I was finishing up my teaching certification through the alternate route, through TMI, with Ole Miss. And so literally, I also drove 75 minutes for that job to go there. So I literally drove about 75 minutes, an hour away, go to the job, come back. I would take some time at home to rest up, recuperate, eat some food, spend some time with my husband. But then it was, babe, I need to get to the work here, because the work didn't stop. I had biology all prepped from my background as a college professor, but I didn't have zoology, human A&P, botany all prepped out, physical science. So in other words, I was hitting the ground running, and I was thrown into it. They did provide me with some resources, but mainly it was in my hands. What do I have to do to prep and make sure that I feel prepared, because I have a big impact on these kids. It's a huge job. And that's the thing, is if you don't care about mentoring or being a positive influence for students nowadays, then don't be a teacher. But yet it's a lot, it's harder than you think. And in rural America, you may be doing multiple jobs, multiple subjects, multiple things that might not be what you originally went into, but you make it work because that's being part of the team. And it's also, you don't want to see the kids lack and lose anything in their process. You want to see them everybody deserves an amazing education and all the chances thereof. And then it's also what the students put into it as well. So I do my part, but then the students also need to do their part.
So, Lindsay, if we were to walk into your classroom on a good day, what would we see students doing and saying and interacting with that tells us that learning is happening?
Absolutely. First off, it's always a great day to be in my classroom. Like, regardless, I love that. So I have a really good routine. And so for me, I teach there are 4 blocks a day. I teach 3 classes, and I have a planning block. Our classes are 94 minutes. And so I have a really great routine. The first 5 minutes is a bell ringer. So my students come in, it's typically a science history. It's on this day, what happened in science across any of the subjects. So what I like is that bell ringer already is exposing them to different things. It's working on reading comprehension. But they may learn about nuclear radiation. They may learn about when antibiotics were discovered. They may learn about when the television was invented. So it's all these different things on this day, this happened in science. And so that's the first 5 minutes. It gives me time to make sure that the attendance is taken care of. And then I go into my lesson. So the lesson is anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. I have a big TV, PowerPoints that I do. And so that is hands-on. That's getting them into the lesson. That's presenting stuff. It may be some group activities, asking for comprehension during it, questions or observations from the students. And then after that, 20, 30 minutes, we go into independent work time. So then my students are given different activities that may include some group work. We really do utilize group work. I'm fortunate that in my room, I have science tables, and it has 4 people at each table. So they are in teams. They're Raptor themed. So it's Team Blue, Team Echo, Team Delta, and so forth. So they have a team they rely on. I usually have some kind of group component. If not, then it's several things that are independent. They work. It gives me time to move around the room, see how they're doing, what's connecting. And then if I have an assessment, it's a traditional assessment. If it's a quiz, it would be in the last 20 minutes after that. Although for sometimes I give them more time to practice with multiple worksheets, multiple activities. So it may be traditional assessment at the end, or it might be continuing to let them work, because people do work at different paces and some might need a bit of extra attention from me. So I will move around the room. Then we end on a reflection. So the reflection is in a notebook, a traditional composition book. I love hands-on stuff like that. Traditional there are certain things that don't go away. Writing in a notebook that they get at the beginning of the year, or at the beginning of the semester, I provide them a notebook. They're allowed to color it, decorate it, as long as it's school appropriate. You can personalize it, but they know that they're given a question. And that reflection was something I referenced and got called shared in the awards ceremony stuff. I like a lot of the would you rather be questions, and these allow me to have the students relate to terminology, and it shows you what they're picking up on. And I'll give an example. My chemistry students, one of the prompts they get is, would you rather be an electron, a proton, or neutron, and why? So they have to, and you go, guys, you have to pick. I don't want to be any of them. No, that's not the question. You have to pick one, even if it's because you don't want to be the other two, but it's the why that I'm interested in. And so you'll get, I want to be a proton because they're positive and I'm positive. You go, oh, I like that. Or, oh, neutron because I like to be neutral. I don't like to get into drama. So you hear them say that and they write that down. They're free to be able to go, okay. And some students are quiet where they don't want to be the person to raise their hand and say something in front of the group, but they're so comfortable with being able to write that stuff down in a notebook. So that's in the last, I'd say 9 minutes is reflection. So I love, and from what I've heard, which is really great feedback from my students, is they appreciate that routine. And if we're in the middle of something and we don't get to a reflection, that's not the end of the world. You go, okay, well, it's diverting attention where we need that. If we're in the middle of a lab and okay, they were going to reflect, but we're finishing up stuff, that takes priority. So they know that if I have to change something, I'll let them know, but they will also double check. Hey, Dr. C, we don't have reflection today, right? You go, no, I'm sorry, we don't. But then they'll put their notebook away. So I love how much they know what the routine is. And also what I can speak to is I don't give homework in my class. That puts the pressure on it puts the emphasis on the students that everything you do in my class matters. Everything matters. So this is one of several classes. And also with us being a residential art program, there are students that maybe are getting ready for a musical. They're going to rehearsals. They're going to a film competition. They're going to a art competition. So these students are doing a lot more stuff than you would even see at the college level. They're getting a full education. They have art discipline classes as well. And they have a lot of events and things and rehearsals that they go to. So I say, I don't want to give you stuff outside. My class is important. The other classes and things are important. However, you don't have time to ignore what you do in class, take it out of class, and then put yourself in a deeper hole. So for me, and honestly, they get anywhere from 3 to 5 grades a day. The bell ringer is a grade. The reflection's a grade. I may give anywhere from 3 to 4 or 5 activities or worksheets or items that they do that is part of the checklist of practicing. Repetition and practice is what really makes it for science, especially for learning concepts, learning new terminology, a new language. Also math. If we have to apply math, they need a lot of practice and repetition. So I'm very proud that it doesn't matter what kind of a day is it, whether it's if it's a tough day for me or a tough day for those students, because we all have tough days. They know what to expect, and that stability is really good, I've heard, for a lot of students.
Yeah, well said. Lindsay, I want to shift gears a little bit here and talk about equity and access in rural learning. From your perspective, what are the most important access issues that rural students are facing right now, and how do those show up in the learning environment?
I would say the internet, being able to actually internet and technology, having computers, having stuff. A lot of students want to do things on their phone, but honestly, phones can't do everything. I've told them that when it comes to activities, that you need Chromebooks or we need books. So I'm very blessed that I've got a set of Chromebooks for my students, because not everybody has stuff. I mean, we try to say it's great if it's one-to-one technology. There's a lot of schools that are able to do that. Not everybody can. And honestly, some kids for us might be going. And so our students are here on campus. They live on campus, and then every other weekend they go home. And for equity, some students might not have internet, and some students may not have a stable home life outside of coming to our schools. So when they leave, you don't know what they're going to be able to do, what they can complete, and hopefully they're even just getting their basic needs met. But then if you put basic needs and then I have to get this essay done, or I have to get this report done, I need to go online and do this, it's hard to do that. I mean, I actually advocated for, I went to bat for a student that through a college program that we have, she was not able to complete some stuff online, and she admitted that one thing was her not knowing a date, but then after that, it was literally they lost power. It was a one streetlight town, and so her professor wasn't really being very receptive to, well, you didn't get it done in the time, and you go, I understand, that's valid. However, she doesn't have the internet to do that. So and this is an online class. And that is probably also the drawback of, we want to put so much stuff online and online programs and online classes and certifications. But in rural America, I mean, if you don't have enough of the Wi-Fi to do that, I mean, back in the day, you could be able to go to a store and say, hi, I'm so-and-so. I'd like to speak to your manager. Here's my resume. I'm interested in doing this. Are you hiring? We know that that's not how it is nowadays. It's, oh, I'm sorry. We don't hire, or we don't talk to people. You need to do it through our third party to send this, and they will contact you. So nowadays we rely so much on technology, but guess what? not everybody has access to that. And also, some people have struggles with reading and writing. And I mean, I was in the pharmacy here in Brookhaven, and there was a gentleman that was asking a lady and her mom, like, that were sitting in the little waiting area of CVS, and he was saying, "Hey, I hate to ask this, but I can't. I need glucose strips. I need glucose strips for testing my blood sugar, but I don't know what to get. Is this okay? I can't read." And so literally he's walking around with boxes and he's asking for help because he's just being honest. You go, I don't know how to read and I know what I need. So for him, that's a struggle. And so we see that technology, there's technology issues, there's Wi-Fi, everything so much is online, and they, that's time-stamped, that's great, but not everybody has access to that. So I've noticed that from being here. And also some people have very big struggles. And I've seen that as well. The reflection journals will start to show when it comes to people's handwriting, you get a feel for what their what they're saying. And I showed that to my principal. I showed a handwriting. And I said, do you want to see what this person wrote or take a look? And then it was like, she realized, oh, wow, that's hard to read. You go, yes, it can be. I'm getting a feeling for this person's writing and what are the letters, but is it very easy to read now? So
Yeah.
definitely struggles, but also it's a way to, can we break people up?
Yeah. Teaching is pretty heavy, and can be, especially right now when we know that there's a lot of competing policies and struggles with funding and communities that might be fragmented. What helps you as a teacher in Brookhaven? What helps you stay steady or hopeful and stay positive so that you can be effective for your students?
Absolutely. I'd say that comes from the pride I have in my teaching philosophy, and because it may be challenging. No workplace is perfect. No job is perfect. However, I love what I do. So it keeps me in there. The students keep me in there as well. It's knowing that God wants me there. And as long as he wants me there, I will keep showing up for that assignment. So you hear the drawbacks. It's good to be aware of what's going on. And you tend to hear a lot of either the sensational stories. And yes, there's going to be stuff that goes viral or that is like the hot button issues of, teacher burnout and teacher pay and all kinds of stuff, limited resources. There's so much stuff, but at the same point, it's sharing the stories, and it's us taking advantage of when someone wants to talk to us and talk to a teacher and not just assume and not just go, you think you know what we do. No, there's a lot of assumptions. It's that little meme of here's what society thinks I do. Here's what people think I do. Here's what my parents think I do. And here's what I really do. And you go, everybody can have an opinion of it, but it first comes to connecting with us, appreciating who's there. Because honestly, I'm a mom. I'm a new mom. My son is 3.5 years old. And so that transformed, as much as I love teaching and to mentor students, having my son literally changed my world and made me even more empathetic and more appreciative of, when you send your kid to a school, you hope that there are great people interacting with them to support them, because it's of all the jobs and all the things that we sink money to an investment, number one should be education. And the people who are mentoring, because as I tell my students, you're the future leaders of this country. You're the future. You're the leaders. You're inheriting what's here. It may not be perfect, but it's yours. And we want to make sure that we're raising citizens and helping people and having that impact. So really, there's lots of issues. There's lots of drawbacks, but it's connecting with us and being able to know that we're supported. And we do have support. Our loved ones support us. We've got coworkers that support us. There are those parents and people. There's a lot of people that will support us, but there's also a lot of people that don't take the time to talk to us and just assume. And you go, it would be nice to have a voice at that table, have a voice and have people to ask us versus just to assume or go, oh, it must be nice you have off for the summer. You go, oh, guys, if that's what you think is the most important thing is you have off summers, you go, and no, that's not, but and so you look to the support. And so I look to my fellow coworkers. I'm part of an amazing team of teachers at my current school. they're incredible. And again, I'm more of like the newbie on the block for that crew. So they have been teaching so long. So it's the veteran teachers that support and keep us and to help support us. It's also new teachers who are coming in with new ideas and voices. So it's everybody, and it's just everybody has a team and a part to play. And the stronger the team is, the more you can do, even when times are challenging. So
yeah. If you could sit down to extend that a little bit further out, Lindsay, if you could sit down with a group of rural superintendents and principals for 5 minutes, what would you ask them to protect or to prioritize for teachers that are teaching in rural places?
Absolutely. I would say I'm speaking not just for myself, but for fellow coworkers and for other teachers. It's protecting our time to teach. We want to teach. We love to teach. It's extra meetings. It's extra duties. All kinds of other stuff that starts to eat into, because the thing about teaching and that people, the further away you are from the classroom, for those that have moved on to other positions or even policymakers, visiting schools, that's wonderful. It's great that they do that to go visit, but you're not in the trenches with us. And so when you're there visiting schools and talking to people, teachers want to teach. They want common planning period. The thing is that when we're teaching, if I'm actively teaching, I'm not sitting at my desk grading. I'm not sitting at my desk planning. So in other words, if I'm teaching to my best ability, and when I'm teaching, and no matter if I have 5 students or no matter if I have 17 or 20 students, that is fully into so much that you are having to make decisions to evaluate what's going on in the real time. You're making so many decisions and there's so much going on. Now, if the phone's ringing or there's an announcement going on or someone's knocking on your door. So we have a lot of stuff that will pop up and you're managing that. But it's guys, I'm not planning when I'm teaching. I'm not grading when I'm teaching. That stuff has to be done at another time. And ideally, if you have a planning period, that's great. Some teachers don't have the planning period, or you have a planning period, but then they need you to cover a class, or then they really need you to be part of this IEP meeting as a general science teacher. So you get pulled for that. So you end up having to take stuff home. And I did that my first few years, but then I worked hard enough to have my resources set aside so I could protect my time with my family, because I've been away all day. My husband is at home and with my son, and I come home and my son's been waiting on me. So it would really be tough to go, I love you guys. Yes, let's spend time. But hey, I have to do all this other stuff. So teachers, if you want teachers to be the highest quality, the best that they can be, it's protecting their teaching, protecting their planning, giving them time to have common planning, whether it's with their fellow coworkers, or I was at a school district where, because I was the only science teacher, they would take, it would be a PLC day, and all of these different teachers in biology would come from all these different areas. We'd have sub coverage. We would meet in an area, and it would be all day of, we did professional development. What's working in the classroom for you? And honestly, the would you rather be's, those questions, and that developed literally from a PLC that I went to where we did that. I was so blown away by that as a topic and if I didn't have that, I mean, I would be lacking in an area and I wouldn't have grown as much. So to me, it's knowing that we want to teach, we want to do stuff, we want to support at all levels. However, we're only one person, and eventually you can't pour from an empty cup. So it's making sure that we're taking care of our teachers. I love when principals go and check on teachers, go visit, go see, is there anything we can do for you? What's going on? Because it shouldn't be that I see you just once a year for an observation. It's that the great systems have great teams, great leaders, people that are aware of what's going on with your team, because this is the team. If the team's struggling, the whole school's going to struggle. So all the people to get support, to listen to hear if there's something that we need to change or work on, that they check with teachers and hear and talk to us first, because we do see the students every day. We see them, we see what's going on. And when multiple teachers can say, so-and-so's struggling, so-and-so's sleeping in my class, oh, I noticed so-and-so's doing that as well. We're bringing that wealth of knowledge and observation that the more we have, the better that we can say, oh, clearly this student's having a struggle, having an issue. let's talk, let's see, because clearly something's going on. Enough of us have seen it. And it's not just, okay, well, we're sending them to an office, and it's good to bring everybody in on the team. So I would say, teachers, we want to teach, and we want the time to plan and to have amazing instruction, stuff that really will be amazing, because it's not just you sit in the corner there and that's it. Turn it into me when you're done. We're interacting, we're engaging, and also it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Lindsay, as the World Teacher of the Year, you have a platform for a year. And you mentioned earlier that you plan to use it, which I think is fantastic. What message do you most want to lift up about rural education and student opportunity? I mean, is there a misconception that you want to correct in the public narrative, or is there a practical ask that you'd like to put in front of Mississippi state leaders right now? What is it that you're planning on talking about this upcoming year?
I would say I'm working on resources, and also with Mississippi Rural Education Association, we're trying to come up with resources and things that can help those teachers. So the teachers that are the one-person departments that don't have the ability to walk away at times, take a professional development day, that maybe don't have time to meet with their coworkers. Are there resources and things that we can share to the group and to advocate and to help each other out? So I saw that when I was named World Teacher of the Year for Mississippi, it was connecting with my teachers, and if they needed resources, I said, I will send you whatever I can. I can direct you to different things. So it's knowing that it doesn't cost a lot of money. There's a lot that I did and would do that didn't cost any money. I love the free websites. I love certain games and certain platforms. So money helps. However, there are ways to get by without it. So I can say, when it comes to science, you can do DNA extraction with a blender, or I've even done it with the BlendJet, the thing that is the little standalone that you put everything in there and you can actually drink from it. It's a blender and cup all in one. So I've done DNA extractions with that, because if you didn't have a big kitchen blender, you have a little BlendJet. So you can do, and again, you can do stuff with just bags and, strawberries. There's so much stuff that we can do that does not require expensive equipment. So I am all about resources and helping people out. And it doesn't have to be just science. There's stuff that I either come up with or use that is really, really helpful for different teachers. And actually, because my classroom we're under construction, so I actually have different things that are set aside because of talking about teaching. So I can actually show you guys. This was based on a teacher video I saw. And it was a teacher video on Facebook, and it was a teacher that had all these Post-it notes in a circle, and it's every letter of the alphabet. And there are students around it. And so the students have to come up with a word for the letter. And that might be based on, for example, and I saw that, I went, that's good. But if you don't want to keep doing paper, you can laminate. But what could I do to kind of streamline that kind of idea? And so I found this game. It's called Think Words. So this is a little letter board, and it has almost all the letters of the alphabet. So I could say photosynthesis. So the topic is photosynthesis. So students have to look at this letter, and it has a timer. I won't do the timer on this, but if it was photosynthesis, okay, P, plants, or oxygen. So they're clicking on different things here. And so literally you're trying to get them to use as many letters of the alphabet as they can for different topics. And so that was something that I use in my classroom. And honestly, people can use it in English. People can use it in history. The topic is Civil War or Gettysburg. How many different letters can you come up with? So I love coming up with, that's the innovator in me for us scientists, that you have to create and do new things. We don't get further doing the same way we've done. It's about going further. And so for me, science is about creating and innovating. And so I bring that to my classroom. And if I can bring that or help bring resources like that to other teachers, that's what I love as well. And it's something that we're working on and seeing what's possible for us to start maybe at the Mississippi level. And if it's able to expand more, but resources and getting creative in the classroom, I'd say that's what I really love, is how can we bring more gameplay and things that are allowing students to do something different and to shine in different ways, build different skills. And also that's fun for them as teams to compete amongst each other. So I enjoy using those kind of resources and coming up with new ways to do things that maybe we hadn't done before. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, we go back to the drawing board and change it. So that's the thing about being a teacher is just as in science, if you fail, it's not the end of the world. It's how you get back up and finish or to change something. So we learn from failure because usually science, it's not working most of the time. So it's how can you change it and get it to work and get it to do it reproducibly and consistently with accuracy. And so I bring that into my classroom. And so I'm hoping to continue doing that for teachers with this platform and with getting more connected in the network and to keep advocating.
That's fantastic. Well, Lindsay, I always end with the same question, and that is, what does the term rural advantage mean to you?
It means community. It means relationships. So I've taken time to think about this because I was in Houston. So Houston was all of my degrees. Houston is a huge city. And so my husband and I knew we wanted to come out to the country, grow roots. And it was the difference is people look at each other. They really do connect. You look at someone and you say, hi, how's it going? And you don't even have to know the person, but people are greeted and they connect more here. And honestly, it was interesting because people could tell we were not local of Brookhaven here. So it's where are y'all from? Or where do you go? So it took time to get plugged into the network because if they don't know your family and they don't know what church you go to, you go, oh, okay. Well, oh, you're from, they could tell from the accent. I wasn't from Mississippi. They could already tell from that. But what I see is people build such strong relationships here because it's not from just necessity. It's because they enjoy connecting with each other and because that builds a strong community. These are strong communities. These are strong people. And so if they can help you or if they know where you need to go, those types of relationships matter. So for me, I mean, in a city, you're one of so many people. And my husband and I would build those relationships wherever we go. It's nice if you go to the same gas station and you know, oh, that's Adama. Hi, Adama. How's it going from the gas station? You know, just he saw us so much. So we build relationships, but it's also you're going to see so many people. You're just one face out of so many. But in the country, they see you and then they want to know like, oh, well, where are you from? And they're inquisitive. They want to ask the questions and see, okay, well, if you're not from here, where are you? Where are you from? So I'd say it's amazing connections. It's people like really people connecting, seeing you like where you're at. So that you don't get that in the city, and not to knock it. There are very tight people can form relationships, but when it feels like it's kind of the bystander effect or that you're just one of so many just numerous faces, but every person matters. But you see in the country that's not a healthy community. You want to be able to help people. For example, with the tornadoes that came through 𝐷𝐸𝐻𝐸 here, it's that literally as soon as that happened, people know in the network. And so people said, oh, that's so-and-so at the RV park, at the trailer home, you know, how are they doing? Do they need any kind of generator? Do they need supplies? So people and all the churches pulled together to help with that as well. People from the 𝐾𝐩𝐢𝐬 Navy, the Louisiana people came to help. So literally it's strong connections, and it's, I wish that was everywhere. It should be everywhere, but yet you see it and you feel it in rural communities. It's when you live here. I mean, traveling through is one thing, people, but to actually live in these places and to see that, you get why it's different. You get the difference, and there is a difference.
Yeah, well said. Well, Lindsay, thank you. I really appreciate the way that you carry both rigor and care in your teaching, and you're really, I think, reminding us that rural excellence isn't rare. It's just underreported.
Yes.
Your students are very fortunate to have you, and your state is fortunate to have your voice on this platform. So thank you for what you do, and thanks for taking some time to spend with me.
Thank you.
Friends, if this episode gave you something useful, please take a moment to like the episode, make sure that you're subscribed to the Rural Scoop, and leave a comment with way. Share it with one rural educator who needs encouragement and ideas. Those small actions help more people find the show and keep us elevating what's working in our rural schools. I'm your host, Melissa Sadorf, and remember, in rural leadership, our strength is our shared story. When we lead together, we thrive together. I'll see you next time.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Rural Scoop. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep these important rural conversations going. And we'd love to hear from you, so feel free to leave a comment or share your thoughts. You can follow along and never miss a new release by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform or by following us on social. We're on YouTube at The Rural Scoop, Instagram at msadorf1, and X at msadorf03. The Rural Scoop is produced with support from Vela Educational Consultants. To learn more, visit velaconsultants.com. See you next time for more great discussions about rural education. And as always, keep leaning in to the rural advantage.